Hey, what is up, guys? P.O.G here. For the first time in a long time, where you're actually hearing my voice, um, giving you a Digimon D-Reaper deck profile. Yeah. We had our winter holiday event, and nobody wanted to do Highlander, so they just played a regular event for the promos and stuff. I played my favorite deck. Um, so yeah. I got second, which is pretty good. So they had two Gatomon winner promos, so I was able to get one of those. Um, yeah, let's go. I guess just right into the deck profile. It's pretty standard, but you'll see. So obviously the four mothers. I can't wait to see these in the nationals arts, the special ones. I'm hoping to get a playset of those. So, but yeah. If you don't know what this does, I'd be surprised, but yeah. Unaffected by everything, awesome. For your opponent's effects, it's unaffected by everything. Um, Once per turn, you can put a ADR searcher underneath this card. Pretty simple. But if you have two of these out, or more than one of these out, you can't use that effect. So that is important. I'll talk about that more later. And then the really good effect is that once per turn, for every source that's underneath Mother, you can reduce the play cost of one of your D-Reaper trait cards. So, yeah. Very, very good. Oh boy, let's get into the fun part, right? We played 16 ADR2 Searchers. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. This is your gas for the deck. You can draw cards. Every time it gets played, you draw a card. Has the effect where you can have up to 50 copies. If you don't have one of these on field, you can reduce the play cost, make it one cost. So usually turn one plays is, do you have this in hand? Great, you're going first, play it, put your opponent to one. Just to rob them of a full turn. And then usually that has them pass the turn to 2. They usually hard play something for 3. Then you're able to suck up next turn. You can go ahead and play another one. It'll put you to 1. And then you can reduce cost with Mother, and that'll put whatever you're playing as a 3 cost to 2 cost, and that puts them back to 1. So very easy to stall them out by memory choking them. So that's what you're trying to do at the beginning anyways. So while you're building up all your searchers underneath your Mother. Played 4 Pendulum Feet. One of your main searchers, literally the main searcher in the deck. On play, reveal top 3 cards, add a card, D-Reaper trait, and 1 ADR searcher among them to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. Pretty standard. Grab a searcher, grab something else, or if you only show searchers, you can grab 2 searchers. Pretty good. Not much to say about it. Very early game card. Even late game or mid to late game, I find myself playing this just to make sure I find what I need. Especially the deck is getting thinned, which it does so easily now, especially with the new fake Jerry. It gets you what you need. 4 bubbles. Bubbles is great. Security effect is the same as its on-play effect. It just places an ADR searcher from either in play or in your hand underneath one of your Mothers as their bottom Digi-Evolution card. It just speeds things up. It's a speed card. 3 of ADR1 Jerry, the old one. I can't wait till we get the new ADR1 Jerry from the BT19 stuff that we didn't get. Because some of these cards that I'm about to show you are going to get taken out, and I'll explain more about that later. But great card. This pairs with the Jerry Tamer really well. I'll talk again. There's a lot of stuff I got to talk about. I'll talk about it, and I'll talk about the matches that I did and the mentality that you're supposed to have when you're playing this deck, what your goals are. All right. So 5 cost. Main effect, suspend the Digimon, look at the top 5 cards, place the searcher from those revealed 5 cards underneath your Mother, and then the rest go to the bottom of the deck. Again, really simple. 4 Gatekeeper, you have to. It's your only really good defense. from stopping your opponent to play. I mean, security effect, it plays itself without battling and without paying the memory cost. And then on play, if you have a Mother D Reaper in play, it recovers 1 to your deck. And then during the opponent's turn, while you have a Mother D Reaper with 6 or more sources, all your opponent's Digimon gain security tech -1. Yes, these stack, so get 2 of them on field. Security attack -2 to everything, and there's no real way to get around this other than by destroying it with card effects, because this is rarely going to be tapped, so there's no way that you're really attacking all this unless you have raid. And then there's no way to strip sources off of Mother because she's unaffected by everything. So yay, unless you want to raid into Mother, but I mean, we'll talk more about that in a minute. This card won me my round 1 in both games. It won me games in round 2, and then I never saw it in round 3, and that's why I lost round 3. We'll talk about that. For the other ones, we played 2 Pilates Head. This is great for removing the floodgate stuff, as well as other things that are going to be really annoying. So your opponent has an Ugomon, you know, reduced costs. It's 6 costs. It's pretty steep. And then you tap it with its main effect, and then you can suspend the Digimon, or that's what I just said, tap it, right? And delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. So it's going to hit almost all the floodgates anyway. It's 3k, but then for every searcher that's underneath during your turn, it's going to give 1,000, so it gets up there pretty quick. It's a good way to mid to late game just to remove stuff from your opponent's field. That's going to be a problem, so maybe you can't win during the turn, but it gets better afterwards. Play 1 ADR 06 Horn Striker. It's just a rush card. That's all it does. Your turn, while you have a Mother D River in play, this Digimon gets rush. I mean, it's there to end games. It's there to destroy opponent's stuff that's tapped. So you can either use the Tamer Jerry's effect, or you can use the Mother effect to reduce this. And you just swing into whatever you need to swing into. Because it's already 7,000, it's pretty easy to get over a lot of things. You know, you only need 5 to get over 12s. To get over 15s, you do need 8s, but I mean, if you have 8 sources under your thing, you're probably just going to go into Reaper anyway. So, speaking of Reaper, 2 Reaper, 3's great, but it gets cloggy. Sometimes you don't see this, sometimes you don't need to see this. I'll explain more about that in my feature matches. I'll explain it now. So in my matches, my matches that I played, God, the matches that I played, this really only came up like once or twice. It came up in round 2 for the second game, just to finish things off. But I don't find myself trying to clear 5 or 6 security with this at once. I'm kind of doing chip damage with everything else. So by the time if it even comes out, they have like only like 2 or 3 security. So I'm kind of just using this as a cleanup type of thing to finish games, you know, when I feel like I can. And if I don't feel like or if I'm not confident enough, like I'm like, hey, maybe my opponent has something that'll pass memory over, or I have something that'll destroy this, and the next turn I'm SOL with, you know, having nothing, I'm just going to die next turn. There's no point in playing this. So the fact that this used to be the be-all, end-all, and there wasn't a lot that decks could do about it, was pretty great, because you were just trying to get to this, you're trying to rush to this. Now, not so much. If you don't know what this does, you can remove 7 or more sources from one of your Mother D Reapers, and then if you do, it sets the play cost of this card to 0. It doesn't reduce, it sets it, so you don't have to worry about floodgates with this. It has rush, and then it has when attacking, you can place 2 searchers from your trash under this Digimon, and then you unsuspend it, and that's not once per turn. So as long as you have 2 for every swing, you can keep unsuspending. Last Digimon, 2 Death X. This card's kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't play it once during my matches today. I kept saying to the guys at locals, I said, man, I can't wait for Medieval Gallantmon, because that's what will be going in here instead of this, and we won't be playing 2, we'll be playing 4 Medieval Gallantmon, just because it's really good, and it pairs really well with the new Digimon Jerry, the ADR1 Jerry from BT19. Played 2X Antibodies. This should be at 1. I mean, you shouldn't be playing 2. You can either play this or you can play Zubamon, because Zubamon can actually be detached for the effects for getting into Reaper, which is cool, but it costs memory. That's the only bad thing. I wanted to play one less of this and play. Actually, we'll just get to it. Play one more tie, but I don't have another tie. I'm waiting on it to come in, so I played 2 X antibodies. It's pretty good. Just gets you to reducing stuff quicker. You're able to get to the 6 sources to use with Gatekeeper a lot faster. Security effects fine to gain a memory if they swing into it. It passes turns sometimes, but not very often. Yeah. Tamers, 4 fake Jerry, or Jerry fake. Card's great. This is the one thing that the deck needed. This is what makes the deck playable. I'm sure you've heard other people that do deck profiles since this came out. Oh, this is the only reason that you can play D-Reaper now, and that's the truth, the whole truth. So if you don't know, it's on play, reveal 4 cards from the top of your deck, add a card with the D-Reaper trait among them to your hand, and the rest go to the bottom of the deck. And as a main effect, that's not a delay, meaning it can be activated the same turn that you play the card. And by returning this card to the bottom of the deck, you can play a Digimon with the D-Reaper trait with the cost of 3 or less from your hand for free. But for every source underneath the Mother D-Reaper, you can bump it up by 1. So if you have 2 sources, that means you can play 5, you can automatically play the ADR1 Jerry. So really good. So it's literally just so say you have 2 underneath, 2 sources underneath Mother. This is now 2 cost, and you get to search. And if you already have the ADR1 Jerry underneath, or in your hand, I mean, you just put this to the bottom, and you get to play Jerry, and then you get to speed up your deck a lot more. That's all this is. It's speed, speed, speed. Use this to play Jerry's, use this to play Horn Strikers. Use this to play sometimes the little guys at the beginning of the game, especially if you go in second. This is a great card to play instead of playing a Searcher that's just going to sit out there and do nothing. It's better to start digging, right? So, really, really good card. Security effect is just play this card, and then it's going to activate the effect anyway. So, very, very good. If your opponent runs into multiple of these in security, they might as well just scoop up. So yeah. Yo, we play the cursed card. Hey, focus there, damn it. There we go. We play the cursed card here, just for blocking. So obviously for blocking, this card's great. For the gaining memory effect, if your opponent has a Digimon, it's even better. If this gets hit in security, it's awesome. If you have to play it, that's fine. You at least want 1, sometimes 2. Early game blocking with your Mother is not a big deal, so you want to do it as much as possible, and I'll explain why I messed up in my final round so much regarding this. Like I said, if you have multiple out, you can bring out the second one with the other one has sources, but neither of them can suck afterwards. They can't absorb any searchers, and that's a problem. So you're really only bringing this up if you really need it to not lose the game, or if there's something big enough where you know this is going to die and the second one can survive, then it's like, great, you know? So, it's not bad. I really enjoy Shoto. I think this also helps the deck exist. Just allowing Mother to do what Mother needs to do, and being another body that has more uses than just on your turn. So, really, really good. And then finally, one tie, Kamiya from ST15, the starter deck. Memory setter, so you're not going to get choked. And then all turns when a target is switched, you spend this Tamer, you draw a card, and then one of your Digimon gets plus 2,000 for the turn. That's important. The draw is okay, but it's the plus 2k that you really care about. Like I said, I wanted to play 2 of these, but I only played 1 because I only have 1, so I played another of the X Antibody. I definitely would like to play another one of these, that way I can at least get 4k on stuff to really get over big things. This is important in an Omnimon matchup. I didn't get to play against Omnimon, but this is really the whole reason, is because of cards like Omnimon are really big cards, or things with raid that feel like they can get over your mother. If they're like, I have 16, you're like, oh, okay, cool, block, you know, there it goes. You don't even have to block because the attack target switches with raid, so it sets this off anyways. So you get a draw and it becomes bigger. You have 2 of them, then it becomes 19k, so they have to really get going if they don't. Let's talk about the matchups, and I'll be able to explain some things, and then I'll talk about how this deck's going to change when EX8 and the cards from BT19 for D-Reaper come out, mainly the new ADR Jerry. So round 1, I played against Red Hybrid. I 2-0'd on that one. Game 1, it is pretty standard. He got out the Emperor Greymon that gives extra security attacks for every hybrid source underneath. Had 5, so he got to, or he had 4, so he got to hit 5 checks, right? So on the second to last one, he hit a Bubbles, and I only had 5 sources underneath the mother, so the Bubbles was allowing us to place another ADR searcher underneath. And then the next card, the last card that he hit, was a Gatekeeper. And he still had 2 attacks left, so he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So he's like, that's cool. And he's like, swing, and I was like, yeah, you have blanket minus 1k. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And from there, next turn we were able to clean up and just win. It might have been an extra turn afterwards, but the Gatekeeper really puts in a lot of work. Game 2, he just got really unfortunate. He did the same thing, 5 checks, and he hit 2 Gatekeeper and security, so it left me with 2 security. I had built a board presence, so the next turn I just swung with everything. I didn't even put out a Reaper. I didn't play Reaper on either of those games. That was just with the chip damage that I did with like Bubbles and Pendulum Feet. Round 2, I get to play against the Purple Hybrid that plays the BL Starmon and Shoto Mothers. I like that deck a lot. I think it's really good. I think the regular Purple Hybrid with like Merlin is a lot better, but I mean, still good. I still get scared about all the options that they play, but most of them can't hit me, so it's not a big deal, except for things like Heaven's Judgment, which is minus 12, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Game 1, it was just normal, mindset for gameplay, and then doing chip damage. Thankfully, he couldn't get any of the tamers on board or hybrids. No, that's what it was. It was hybrids. He couldn't get any hybrids early game. So by the time he got some hybrids to actually evolve on top, it didn't matter. We were so far into the late game of game 1, it really just didn't matter. Didn't play Reaper on that game. It was just all chip damage. So it was really great. Game 2, both of us got our mothers and a Shoto out, so we were just kind of sitting there for a while, going back and forth, building up resources, and I was just widening my board. Thankfully, he didn't draw any of the Gewalt Swarmers or the BL Starmons to play him with, so really, really good. He had a pretty good hand. I was swinging, I was doing a little bit of chip damage at the end. I think I got 2 in, and he let him go through. He didn't block with them. He hit I hit a Heaven's Judgment in his security, and he popped one of the Digimon that I had, one of the little ones. And then after that, he had hit 3 security left, and I said, well, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I removed the 7 sources, and I was just able to swing in security and nothing. I hit it was like Rivals Barrage, didn't do anything to my field. Then I think I just hit like a Tamer and something else, and so I was able to swing and win, even with one of his, even with his mother blocking the one that he had on field. I had enough sources and trash to keep restanding the Reaper, so that's how I went 2-0 in that round. Round 3, I lost to the guy that got first. That was Tony. He was great. He played Blue Hybrid. Congrats, Tony, by the way. He played really well for what it was. I mean, as well as one can play when you play Blue Hybrid. I mean, it's so so simple, so straightforward. Like your game plan is so straightforward. It doesn't matter what you're playing against. Um, so he stuck to that, and he was able to pull out the wins pretty easily. I went 1-2 for that one. I lost the die roll, and that was the downfall that I had. If I would have got the die roll, or I won there. I won or I lost the die roll. I can't remember. I think I lost the die roll, and I went second. No, I went first. No, I went second. I'm trying to remember because I lost game 1, won game 2, and I lost game 3. How did that go? I think I won game 1. Or I mean, I won the die roll for game 1, and so that made me go first. And I was like, oh, that's not good, because I wanted to go second so I can play my my Jerry's out quick, so I can really start digging, right? And so I was like, well, all right, and it just didn't work out for me. He played the red, white, and blue version for Blue Hybrid, so Ukomons and then the little red rookie guys. He played a lot of those, and that's what became a problem because in every single game he had the Gigimon that allows him to pay a memory and then pop a 3,000 or less. So when I'm trying to build chip damage with, you know, the little guys here on, where are they? The little guys here, it doesn't work out because he's just paying a memory to do damage, right? So, and early game I had Shotos and I just wasn't blocking, and I should have, especially when that swung. But I mean, it is what it is. Bad mistakes on my part, so that's why I lost that one. Game 2, I was able to. I said, well, I want to go second. He said, all right, and he would give me like 3 memory after just playing a tamer. I said, oh, that's great, and I was able to actually play more stuff. You know, even if it was, you know, putting him to 1. If he puts me to 3, then I put him to 1 by playing a Jerry, right? And that's what we like to see. Because it really slows them down. If you go first and you give them 1, it really doesn't matter, because they're just going to be playing a tamer anyways. That's their whole thing. So if you make him go first, sure, he gets the search or he gets the swing or whatever, but sometimes the stuff dies, sometimes it doesn't die, and that's what I was seeing. Like every time he swung with the rookies, I mean, I have stuff that'll kill rookies, right? But I guess 16 cards, you know, some of them are gonna end up in security. So hitting 1Ks was not killing his rookies and stuff. So it's very unfortunate. But I was able to win that one, just doing chip damage, going as fast as I could. I think it was just building up bodies. I want to say I played Reaper in that game to do like 1 or 2 at the end. And then game 3, same thing happened. In game 1, he chose to go first, and then I just wasn't able to keep up, and he started doing chip damage with the rookies. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say, especially when you're doing the effects for like the Ukomons and stuff like that to hatch another egg. I mean, it's kind of hard to keep up with that. You're fast, but you're not that fast, right? So you really need Shotos, which I don't think I saw in Game 3 until like too late. The other cool thing I forgot to mention is in Game 1, he had a Ancient Guru that I want to say he Digicrossed the turn before that passed over turn. And then during the next turn when he brought up his rookie, he had the Searcher Ugumon, was it BT16 one? So he added a card to hand. So even though I recovered, he was just like, okay, cool, you know, add that to your hand. I was like, well, great, never mind, it doesn't matter anyways. So it was pretty fun. Not mad about it. Tony's great with certain decks. Blue Hybrid is one of them. So again, congratulations, Tony, on the win today for our holiday event with Blue Hybrid. When it comes to where this deck goes, a lot of the stuff stays. I mean, like, you're keeping all your tamers. I mean, ratios are pretty much the same. It's going to be at 2. Maybe you play the 2-cost tie that restands the mothers after blocking. Maybe. There's no really need to. As you can see, we're playing cards that aren't D-Reaper traits, so we're not going to be playing the D-Reaper Zone card. Card's not very good. There's not a need for it, especially when you can just play Medieval Gallimon. Again, I'll talk more about that in a second. This comes out completely. There's no reason to play this. It's bad. Because you have a card that does it better in the form of... Focus, damn it. In the form of ADR1 Jerry from BT19. So, very, very cool. And that card works with the Medieval Gallimon too. These come out, again, Medieval Gallimon. That stays the same. That comes out. These become ADR1 Jerrys because those are better than these. What makes them better is the fact that you don't have to keep your turn after you play this, after you play the Jerry, to do the effect to destroy something or minus something. This just destroys something. The Jerry does minus. So the Jerry says on play, do minus 1k for every source underneath your mother, one of your mothers, to one of your opponent's Digimon. So great. And then you can use the effect to tuck it underneath a mother, and then if I believe the effect is like if your opponent attacks, you can play ADR1 Jerry from underneath mother onto the field, and then switch the attack target to ADR1 Jerry from BT19, and then its on play effect activates and does minus, which is fine because you can just block with the mother anyways if something's really big. If it goes, they swing, they do raid, you go effect, you do ADR1 Jerry from BT19, play switches the attack target to it, it does minus whatever, whatever, how many sources, and then you can just block with the mother, and it's really hard to get over mother then. Raid doesn't really mean much. And then stuff like Snowclad really doesn't mean much anymore either, especially if you're actually playing. So Snowclad's really great against the Shoto Mother stuff if you're not playing actual Mother D-Reaper or actual D-Reaper. But if you're playing D-Reaper and you have all these sources, Iceclad doesn't mean a damn thing, so really, really good. But yeah, you don't play these anymore when that stuff comes out. These are still standard, you gotta play them. These you play, but you reduce the amount that you play because you got more time. You're going to be doing more board controlling than speeding out. So this goes down to about like 2 to 3. I want to say it's 2, but 2 to 3 is usually what you'll see moving forward. Bubbles goes away, and it gets replaced by Terramon from the starter decks, the green Terramon from the starter decks. Because on play it searches, and it'll either search for a Shoto Tamer or it'll search for Medieval Gallimon, because Medieval Gallimon has the Vortex Warrior trait. And that's great because it works with Shoto. Because Shoto can give piercing and blocking, and then if it has Vortex Warriors, it unsuspends. So, awesome. So you can really abuse that. So yeah, this becomes Terramon from the starter deck. Pendulum Feet's obviously still played. It's your searcher. You want to find things. Pretty simple. And then this stays the same. It's 16. It stays to 16. There's no reason to do more. You can take your time. So Medieval Gallimon is a hell of a card. So if you haven't read Medieval Gallimon from EX8, God, the card is so good, and I understand now why it's a secret rare. So the card is level 6 green red, 11 cost. To hard play, 3 cost on a level 5 that's red or green with 11,000 DP. Card says when this card would be played by suspending 2 Digimon, you reduce the play cost by 4. So it becomes a 7 cost, which is pretty cheap for what it does. It has Alliance and it has Vortex. So obviously you all know what those mean. It has a Wind Digivolving effect that says you may suspend one Digimon, then you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. And then for every other suspended Digimon, you add 3,000 to to its DP deletion effects maximum. It also has an all turns once per turn that when a Digimon or Digimons are played, so it's both turns, you can activate one of those cards when Digivolving effects, so it does the deletion stuff. So as long as something gets played, it doesn't have to be by card effect, doesn't have to be, you know, anything crazy. You're deleting stuff, and you combo this with the ADR1 Jerry. So the idea is that if you have, you know, let's say a couple sources, let's say 5 sources, right, underneath, and we'll say this is the ADR Jerry, right, and you have a the medieval out from the previous turn. We'll use Death X-Spawn for that, wherever it is. Oh, it's up here, right. The idea is that your opponent swings, and even if you don't have blocker, use the Jerry's effects. Jerry will play itself, redirects here. You do -5k to something, and then this will activate. The Medieval Gallant will activate, and it'll look and it'll go, oh wow, I can kill something with 8,000 or less because something was played. So now off of this, without having anything suspended, it kills 13Ks and less. Consistently every turn, and then the next turn when it's your turn again and you just go play for 1 cost, it's gonna activate again. So, you know, the idea is like, oh, maybe I'll swing with this first and then I play this, and now I can kill an 11k instead of an 8k. So that's the reason that it's so good. Again, it pairs with the Shoto, it pairs with Terramons. Yes, you have to play other colors, that's fine. The deck's pretty funny moving forward. I like it a lot. I love this deck a lot. Like I said, got the second with the deck at the holiday event when we decided not to play Highlander. So yeah, deck's really fun to play. You should definitely give it a try. I know I made a video that says why you shouldn't play. I had the wrong mentality, because the mentality I was playing with when I made that video was rush up into 6 sources so you can play the gatekeeper so your opponent can attack. Well, that's not really what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be chipping away as much as you can with like bubbles and pendulum feet wherever they went. They're there with pendulum feet every turn, so you're trying to get damage in, and then obviously the Horn Striker to try to finish games without doing stuff, without having to do Reaper. So that's what you're supposed to be trying to do, and then clearing your opponent's board with the Pilates heads and stuff like that. When played this way, the deck performs a lot better versus the old Unga Boonga style of play. So yeah. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the deck profile, guys. I'll be trying to post more consistently. If I can't, then I can't, but I'm going to try to, and I'm going to try to keep giving general updates, I guess is the best way to say it, for this deck. And this is the pet deck. This is what you're going to see on the channel for the most part. I'm trying to get some of the other guys to do deck profiles if they want to, especially if they have really spicy ones or really competitive ones. But we'll see how that goes. If they want to. If they don't, then I can't make them, you know. So yeah. That's it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as usual. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, your feedback, things like that, and if you're excited to play this deck, or if you want to try to play this deck now, or like I said, whatever. I'll be trying to respond to comments again, because I haven't in a very long time, so I'm motivated to do it. So yeah, thanks again, guys. P.O.G, right? Until next time, guys. See ya.